And we're back. I want to speak about the dark side of the phenomenon in which we refer to as pretty privilege and what exactly that is and why that happens because I find it so interesting. I know I get on here and I look like I don't know anything about that life, but I've been a model in the industry basically my entire life. And so I feel like I have definitely enough credentials to speak on this matter. And I have so many stories and so many things that I've experienced being in the industry that I could probably write like I could probably write like a series of autobiographies because what a wild ride uh, the modeling industry is. But anyway, also, I decided to get rid of the blue. You probably can't even tell on camera, but my hair was like dark blue and I missed being a brunette. So but going from dark blue to brunette has been no easy feat, let me tell you. The light coming through my white hair is really making me look bald, but I digress. I would also like to preface this by stating pretty privilege it's not necessarily only catering to physical appearance. I feel like that also includes being so authentically yourself that like you just shine from within and you just ooze like a beautiful confidence and glow about you that people can like see that from miles away. That also um, aligns with this. So, pretty privilege una reverse is what I like to call this. It's like you almost are being punished for being pretty within society, which is ironic because we live in a society where um, being conventionally attractive is celebrated, but it's also hated. It's also resented. And that is the dark side of pretty privilege that I find so interesting that I experience each and every day, especially in Miami. Ever since I moved down here, I find it really funny how I always have to be the one to like smile first in a stranger's face, or basically I have to be the first one to initiate any form of like acknowledgement or respect or kindness. It'll never be the other way around. I've never once experienced it to be the other way around. I think maybe it's because there's like a sense of someone who's pretty or attractive, they automatically write you off as being so not humble or like a bitch or intimidating or I don't know. Any of those. But and then it's so funny because the second that I do show that kindness and show that respect or like whether it just be like a simple like smile like if you're checking out somewhere at the register um you're like buying something you're I don't know like as soon as I show that kindness that like basic empathy for strangers it's like the wall comes down they're like they exhale they're like oh and then they smile back and they're nice to me and but it'll never be if I don't show that first I'll never get that. I think that's very interesting. So stairs, I need like a whole moment to talk about the stairs. Staring staring I cannot even begin to explain to you. Honestly, I feel like I'm numb to it. Like I'm totally just like this is what it is. Like I'm just going to get fucking stared at like a zoo animal at all times. And you kind of just put your blinders on and like start to ignore it after a while. But there are still times where it just makes me want to pop off on somebody and just like legit like turn my head and be like what the fuck are you staring at? Like literally to just I sometimes I have to fight myself from literally going off and being like, can I fucking help you? Like, do you want to take a fucking picture? I don't know where we went wrong in terms of just like letting people stare at people. Like, I can't think of anything more rude in this world, honestly, than someone just staring at you. And I understand that sometimes it can come from it comes from a place of like just sheer admiration and awe maybe or they're just like whoa like dumbfounded but other times which is most of the time there's like a sinister evil stare there's like a evil look that I can differentiate, and I could just I just know. I just see it, and it's like this. It's like when I take my Tom Fords off. It's like this. I don't know. I can't. I don't know. Also, when that happens, especially when it's in a public setting, whoever's doing that, whatever group they're in, whoever they're with, they'll go quiet. They'll just like go quiet for a second because you entered the room, and then there's that sinister stare, and then it's quiet. Um, but yeah, I don't know when we started like, you know, signing off on it being okay to fucking stare at people. There's nothing more that I hate in this world, and I have to just suck it the fuck up and just like I have to just go onward and just like ignore it. But I do find it incredibly rude. I never stare at anyone myself. Like, I just think it's so fucking rude. And there have definitely been instances where, especially if it's a grown man staring at me, like in a rant, like for a gym, for example, there's nowhere ruder to stare at someone than in the fucking gym. I'm already self conscious in the gym. Like, and then you have to fucking stare at me. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And there have been instances where I literally stop what I'm doing and I stare back. You just stare back. Because, like, let me give you a fucking taste of your own fucking medicine. Like, let me give you some self awareness on what the fuck you're doing to me right now. Like, and I literally drop into down and just stare. Or I'll give them this. I'll stare and I'll be like, because, like, most of the time, I don't let it get to me. But, yeah, it's so fucking rude. Women wanting to sabotage or undermine you, it's such a fucked up, sad dynamic and sad world that we live in, to where like that even is a thing. Like, why can't women just support women? It's like in the sneakiest ways too, which makes it even worse. Yeah, or it's like that that enviousness that happens, like there's like an envious aura, if you will, that I can totally sense that someone has towards me. I don't know. It's like their whole demeanor changes, and they just like they just don't want to give you the time of day, or they're just like have a problem with you, or they have like an attitude towards you for no reason other than you're pretty. Don't get me wrong, the latter of that does happen as well, like opportunities, maybe easier networking, all that stuff. However, I did hear a friend of mine say one time pretty privilege means doors open quicker, but the room is colder. And that's so tea. That is so tea. That's so true. Fearing all men. Fearing all men is huge, especially when you're by yourself. I'm not a man hater. I love men. I wouldn't necessarily say that I'm like a man hater. However, men are always a problem. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. There are exclusions to that, but men are always a problem. Women are constantly living in a state of fear. My dad raised me to always have awareness that there's always a big red target on my back. Something along those lines. He would like always tell me like there's always a target on your back. Like you need to like be careful. Da da da. Which is so true. So you always have to be on guard. You can never let your guard down, especially when you're in public, especially when you're by yourself. Yeah, men are absolutely terrifying. I'm not really talking about the same ones. I feel like I'm talking about like the ones on subways and like public transportation that are like super creepy and just like are off, have some screws loose. But there's a lot of those. There's so many of those. It's like you can never get a break. Sometimes I feel compelled to like legit dress up like a like gangbanger like guy with like a mask on just so I can avoid being like stared at and like approached and like um prodded, you know, by these like creepy men. This one's definitely a phenomenon that I've seen girls talk about in recent times, but men never wanting to approach you at the bars. Which also, this goes back to having to make the first move, which sometimes I don't have a problem with it. Sometimes I like to be bold, but other times, like, I get that it's a super intimidating situation. Also, I've seen countless videos of like people describing why, the psychology of why, which is like when you're like a certain level of beautiful, they automatically write you off as like unattainable and like too high maintenance or something, or like just you'd be too much for them.
Expanding on this, like, you're so beautiful, you just look like elite, and most men just automatically are like, yeah, I'm not there yet, or like I can't measure up to like probably what her expectations are. I also get the whole scared of rejection thing. It's not that serious. Like, if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. At least you tried, you know? Like, at least you tried and put yourself out there. That's what life is all about, is just trying shit. And if it doesn't work out, fuck it, it wasn't meant to be. But like, one thing that always helps me, like if I'm like doing something that like I might get rejected, or it involves like doing something that feels strange to me to or around like strangers, it's like, you're never gonna see them again. The odds of you seeing that person again are probably very slim to none. So fuck it. Like, just, I don't know, try. You approach a girl and she's like, no thank you. Okay, like, you can go on about your day, and that's fine. But bring back not being scared of rejection, and just bring back like being brave and just doing shit for the plot and just trying and putting yourself out there. Putting yourself out there is so important, like for even just personal growth, regardless of rejection or exception or whatever, like redirection, you know. So ironic. It's so ironic, right? Because you're like, oh, beautiful women, like they have men like worshiping at their feet, like falling over each other, just lining up around the block just to talk to you. The ones that do, they're not serious. Like, they're like, I don't know, it's like a fucking game to them. They don't have anything to lose, I feel like. The ones who are just really eager to just like, wow. And yes, you do get attention, positive and negative, all the time. But as far as like serious candidates go, it's really hard to find like a good match, because your beauty like scares off men. It's almost like man repellent, to be honest. This may be good because you scare off the candidates who wouldn't even be right for you in the first place. They're not on your level and they know that. And so maybe that's a good thing. When you are like that level of beautiful, that also goes hand in hand with just loneliness. Yeah, it's like you're so beautiful that they just don't even try.
So lame. It's like a cop out. Like, just come talk to me. Acting like you're not there, aka automatic exclusion. Very familiar with that one, especially being in the industry, especially specifically being on sets of shoots. Pretty privilege and modeling, I feel like that's just naturally intertwined. But a lot of jobs, obviously, you're like the higher talent. So in turn, you get treated like a clothing hanger. I'm definitely not saying that every booking is like that, but for the most part, that's something that does happen. I've always been very adamant on making sure everyone around me, especially when I'm on a job or just like in general, like group settings, anything, always wanted to make sure that they're comfortable with me. That's another thing. Basically, overcompensating and like really making sure that no one thinks I'm a bitch, and having to compensate for people thinking you are, and like going into a situation thinking that you are a major bitch. Sabotaging food and drink, that might be something that I bring onto myself, because sometimes I do like to order things without the sugar, without the like, I don't know, sweet cream, and like maybe alter the order to make it a little bit healthier. And I always, not all the time, but sometimes I could tell that it's like they're annoyed as fuck. But when you pair that with like stereotypical skinny, tall, conventionally attractive person, sometimes I really am that stereotype, but also doesn't give anyone the right to obviously just have a massive attitude towards you. And on the topic of cuisine, restaurants, that can also be a really funny experience just off of like the hostess and the vibe of the hostess. There's always like a underlying vibe of condescendingness or like just like attitude, which I'm like, okay, I get it. You might not like love your job, but if you're in the career of that or hospitality, whatever, I would imagine that you would want to be like somewhat decently nice to strangers. But I also know that like mean hostesses are like the butt of many jokes I see on like TikTok and stuff. Like I know that's just like a thing in general. People wanting to humble you, huge, for no reason at all. Like they don't even know you and they just want to humble you in any which way that they can. It does suck because I definitely have met models, fellow models who are so beautiful, jaw-droppingly beautiful, but like so rotten on the inside. Like literally like suck their own dick, so cocky, just like the worst like human being, but they're hot. So they get away with a lot. And that's that stereotype that keeps like this alive. I also understand that I feel like unanimously as society we all judge automatically judge everything put in front of our fucking eyeballs. So that's something that's like a given, but also not everyone is like clairvoyant or like can like sense your energy and like aura like da da da. But I feel like I do exude a really open, friendly vibe, and that should speak for itself. And I feel like usually it does, and other kind souls can recognize that, and we have an understanding. But or not to get like spiritual, because I have a good heart, I have good morals, I feel like I'm a genuine person, a good person. It's almost like a moth to a flame. Like I feel like I draw in like these like toxic, maybe a soul that's like going through some tumultuous shit, drawn to like me because they like want to, they need someone like me, or they like want to be like that. People monitoring your social media, aka like monitoring spirits, but like never really outright supporting you, but like just like stalking you and like watching your every move. That's a big one. That is a big one. People thinking that you're fucking dumb. People thinking that you're stupid because you're hot. Granted, yes, there are dumb, hot, sexy people. I've met them countless times. I mean, I can't even tell you, working with the most unreal men. I mean, like through and through, the most beautiful specimen I've ever seen. The lights are on, no one's home. There's nothing behind those eyes. Rocks rattling around in there, which is fine. And I love that. And they're so fun. They're so fun. And that definitely is an archetype of attractive person that does exist. I can tell you firsthand. And but they're always so sweet, but may not have like a high IQ, and that's okay. But so not fair, to generalize anything at all ever. But sexy people, pretty privileged, definitely getting generalized for that for sure a lot. That's your card that you get to play, only is like you're hot, and that's your thing in this world, is like you're beautiful, and that's all you get to be, is like beautiful. Personally, I'm so tired of being credited only for my looks. Modeling is always going to be a thing for me. Like, that's just like bread and butter. I'm tired of being known just for my looks that like I can't even control. I mean, you just come out of the womb that way. Like, that's boring. I have so much more substance. I have so much more to contribute to society. And that's kind of the era that I'm in right now, is um figuring out how to show that and do that, because you can be a jack of all trades if you want. If you can be whatever you want in this world. You can be more than one thing. Hello. And personally for me, I feel like I'm way too multifaceted to just be the typical clothing hanger hot model. Like, cool, but I feel like I have so many more gifts that I want to share with the world. Um, I want to show my art. I want to express myself. I want to show my creativity, my artistic side. And I think it's like projection at the end of the day in a lot of these scenarios. And no one's perfect. We're all like fighting our own like secret battles and stuff. So I totally get that. But I feel like, ironically, the paradox of experiencing pretty privilege and being pretty, that's the type of person that's the most like at the mercy of someone who's just like, I don't know, having a bad day or just wants to like take out their shit on you or has like inner self-love issues. I don't know. But and also don't get me wrong, like I said, there are obviously huge advantages, perks, whatever, especially since I've moved to Miami. I feel like it's like I experience way more of like the bad shit than the good shit, than the privileges. That's my little somewhat in-depth explanation of the paradox that is being pretty in a world that like both celebrates and resents you for it. Okay, bye.